Several MLAs from GARO Hills expressed their disagreement with the resolution proposed by opposition leader Dr. MUKUL'S in the State Assembly to declare TURA as the winter capital of Meghalaya. While they acknowledge the significance of the proposal, they ultimately oppose it, except for Rupa M. Marak, MLA of the Dengre, who supported it. MLAs who opposed the resolution included Timothy D. Shira, Rasubel Para, Jim Eng Sangma, Rongjeng, Marthon J. Sangma, Mendi Pathar, Sibir Marak, Rang Sakona, Brenning A. Sangma, Dalu, and Rupert Momin, Kharkuta.
Mr. Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I would like to thank you for enabling me to move this resolution from the bottom of my heart. So with your permission, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move this resolution. Whereas successive government of the state, since the inception of the state, have embarked upon a number of developmental and policy initiatives to bring governance closer to the people of the state and usher the state into an era of progress and prosperity. And whereas the hopes and aspirations of the people of the western part of the state, comprising of the 5 districts of GARO Hills, generated the felt need of creation of winter capital at TURA for ensuring equitable and inclusive development of the region as a whole, which is in sync with the dreams and desires of our founder leaders of the state, with a shared objective of creating a sense of oneness among our 3 major tribes of the state. And whereas a number of civil society organizations of GARO Hills have collectively put their voice on behalf of the people of GARO Hills to urge upon the state government to give fruition to this demand of having winter capital at TURA. Now, therefore, this House do resolve to urge upon the government to examine the demand with sincerity, empathy for the establishment of winter capital at TURA.
Resolution moved. You may now initiate the discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Now, this resolution, I have made a conscious decision to table this resolution for the consideration of this august House, keeping in mind the background which in a nutshell I have incorporated in my resolution itself and which is self-explanatory. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, successive governments after the inception of this beautiful state of ours have put their collective effort to bring us thus far. And as I grew up, I saw, even at the time of the statehood movement, I was a small kid then, but then these whole voices still echo in my ear. I can still remember the words that used to echo around in the distant part of the state. One of the most backward places then, at that point of time, Ampati. Meghalaya will shine tonight. Meghalaya will shine tonight. All the young kids, and it became a part of, a song which used to echo everywhere. How the leaders of the state thought that collective endeavor with unity can enable them to overcome the challenge of having this beautiful statehood. And so those are the background. As we grew up, we saw that after the statehood movement ultimately paved the way to have this beautiful state, how the leaders used to engage in discussion. And those discussions, again, are carried forward through word of mouth. Now, that's why I have indicated here in the resolution itself that this particular objective to prevail upon all of us as the policymaker and the people who can actually give fruition to this collective desire of the people of that part of the western part of the state. I have said that this is in sync with the dreams and desires of founder leaders of the state, with a shared objective of creating a sense of oneness among our three major tribes of the state. I want to place on record and would like to revere these leaders and their wisdom, because their wisdom revolved around the power of unity and oneness, which was due to their unconditional love for our people who needed, separate statehood so that our people can be governed by our own people with their own genius. And there was that kind of environment amongst the leaders, because as I was growing up as a child, I could at least be party to the words that used to echo at the time of leaders sitting together and conversing. I think many of the citizens of the state who belong to our generation, my contemporaries and my seniors, will stand witness to this very shared desire and intent of our forefathers, the great leaders who paved the way to enable us to have this kind of discussion now in this August House. Yes, today we are here because of that far-sighted, collective resolve to put their, whatever potentialities they have as leaders on behalf of our people. At that point of time, prior to statehood, I know how we can easily connect with the kind of livelihood that our people were subjected to. Poverty, hunger, starvation, and death due to starvation. I have myself seen at the time of my, when I was still in my upper primary school, those days we used to call it middle school. Many of the traditional hats from different villages converging to my parents' house to write a report to the police stations about the death of people due to starvation. Those days were there. We have overcome those days. But why I'm trying to refer to this past is because unless these leaders would have come together, maybe we would have taken much more longer time to still overcome those kind of hardship and constraint. Today, we are fortunate that we don't hear about starvation anywhere. Of course, we have the challenges of nutritional deficiency, etc., etc. There are various other factors which contribute to that. But at least God has been kind to us. This beautiful land has enabled all our people to prosper and multiply. This is what God has promised, that you shall inherit the land of your parents and possess it, and you shall prosper and multiply. We have prospered and multiplied. We are prospering and multiplying. But this whole prosperity and this whole blessings that comes, obviously, is because of the core values of our people, core values of our forefathers, which we still would like to preserve and practice. The core values which revolves around the sense of oneness, compassion, love, as brethren, despite belonging to different major tribes. It must be only pertinent for me to remind ourselves, if GAROs would have fought separately for statehood, would it have been possible for us to prevail? If only Khasi tribe would have fought for statehood, would have been possible for us to prevail? So I think that connect of the past gives us an insight into how the power of, coming together out of love, compassion to our own people together have enabled us to achieve this statehood. And today, I would like to also place on record my deep sense of appreciation and my gratitude and gratefulness to all the leaders after the statehood, how each of the successive governments have contributed to position us today. Today, Meghalaya is talked about. Meghalaya has been able to brand itself as one of the most potential states to be a model state in the whole country. I remember when I went to meet our Congress chairperson after assuming the office of Chief Minister. Two things which reminded me after I assumed office repeatedly and based on which I communicated to her without even meeting, only through letters, was that, Mukul, Meghalaya is such a beautiful state. The potentiality of your people and the state is something beyond compare. And I have faith in you, Mukul. Do whatever you can and position your state as a model state. Then she reminded me, I am not saying that you shall position your state as a model state only for the northeastern region. Position your state as the model state in the whole country. So this is the kind of perception that people, the leaders of this country has about Meghalaya. We have the potentiality. Our people have the potentiality. And we must believe, and we believe. That's why we are here. Because we want to give fruition to their desires, their dreams. And I think collectively we can do it. Therefore, the spirit of oneness, that whole issue of love and compassion and being good to your neighbor, because I reminded the House yesterday about what is written in Scripture. Because it says, "Oh, nothing to anybody except to love one another." Because one who has learned to love one another has fulfilled the law. It's a state where most of us are faithful and fear God. And based on that spirit and our core values, which is again deeply connected with our faith, today we are doing what we are doing. But there are many more things that we need to do. Therefore, if our brethren are reminding us of this shared desire, the collective desire of the people of the western part of the state, I think it is only appropriate and fit for us to urge the government to examine this particular desire of the people. Therefore, I would like to also, I think, place on record my sense of appreciation for at least the Honorable Chief Minister, who agreed to meet those people who were spearheading this particular demand on behalf of the people of the state of Meghalaya. Though it didn't end the way it should have. I sincerely wish that it should have been, means the end to that meeting and discussion in TURA should have ended in a different positive environment, but it did not happen. Rather, somehow or other, I think we went out of our way to create a situation which ultimately generated a sense of doubt about the willingness of leaders who belong to this current dispensation, both ruling and opposition, that we weren't willing to listen nor willing to discuss. And therefore, you create a fear psychosis. Eventually, aftermath of that incident, we all know which shouldn't have happened. I have elaborately articulated that concern in the preceding session in the August House. Because somehow or other, the district administration went out of the way to even book our boys and girls, the youth, under laws which are applied for terrorists. Therefore, I think there is some kind of doubt on us, on our sincerity, on our intent by the people of GARO Hills. I have heard the whole narrative which is echoing in that part of the state. Therefore, as parents, when we look at the demand of our children, if one of the sons tend to feel that the parents are completely indifferent and insensitive and not willing to even listen, we know what happens. The delinquency, the frustration, the rebellion, that is how it starts. Any hope, which any decision, any milestone that we achieve, which generates hope. Hope, if that hope cannot be fulfilled, then what comes? Frustration. After frustration, anger. After anger, rebellion, then chaos. Therefore, it is always important for us to remember the past, reconnect with the past, how we have gone through those turbulent times, how we have not been able to really deal with the whole frustration, anger, rebellion in the state. Today, we have been able to overcome that challenge, that problem. Our youth who were otherwise, for whatever reasons, misguided or otherwise, however we refer to them, they decided to come back. All of them came back. It was only a different issue that the then so-called commander-in-chief of GNLA did not agree to come back because of other reasons. But peace has been restored. I remember that time when elections were on, when we were confronted by an incident where one of the candidates has to lose his life. Subsequently, when I was campaigning, I was advised by my security advisors and the department concerned, sir, you may cancel your programs during election. That was the kind of situation in the western part. Today, we have overcome that. Today, there is a peaceful environment. That's why people are coming to invest. That's why Meghalaya is being seen as, yes, it's the place which should be taken as the most favored destination. And therefore, it is very important for us to sustain the peace which we have achieved with great difficulty. I'm sure the Honorable Chief Minister and also the Deputy Chief Minister who looks after home knows what is happening. We have concern, and I would urge upon CM to call also the State Security Commission meeting immediately. Things are not good. Frustration, anger, rebellion is not something which augur well for the state. Therefore, there are children. All these people who have put their voice collectively are definitely only articulating their aspirations, their dreams. And therefore, let us, with empathy and utmost sense of sincerity, to fulfill our role as parents, as leaders, as demonstrated by our revered leaders of the past. Let us all come together and urge the government through this resolution that we adopt this resolution today to urge the government to examine the demand with sincerity, empathy for the establishment of intercapital at TURA and give fruition to this shared desire, the collective desire of the people. And discussion, as we embark upon, discussion cannot be something which can be just completed overnight. It will have its own courses of discussions. I think a number of times whenever we had to discuss on issues concerning people, even discussing pertaining to the aspirations, the collective aspirations of the people, we have taken time. There is no shortcut. We may take time, but the intent of us to engage and discuss on this issue must be demonstrated by us with utmost sense of sincerity and commitment, not lip service. Let it come from our heart. And
the resolution brought by Honorable Leader of Opposition, as already stated, different states demanding different headquarters or winter capitals. Meghalaya is not the first one. there are already existing states like Himachal Pradesh having their winter capital in Shimla and their summer capital in Dharamsala. So also Jammu and Kashmir, their winter capital is Jammu, and Srinagar, their winter capital. So also Maharashtra and the others. But what is the difference between us in Meghalaya and the other states? As the mover of the resolution himself has mentioned, Meghalaya is a very small state, sir. Compare our size with Maharashtra. Compare our size with Jammu and Kashmir. I think there is a lot of difference in the size and topography of the states. Now, when I read at the resolution in the middle paragraph, second paragraph, and whereas the hopes and aspirations of the people of western part of the state, comprising of the 5 districts of Garo Hills, generated the felt need of creation of winter capital at TURA for ensuring equitable and inclusive development of the region as a whole, which is in sync with the dreams and desires of our forefathers, leaders of the state, with the shared objective of creating a sense of oneness among the 3 major tribes of the state. Mr. Speaker, sir, we live in an age and era of information technology. Now, as I speak, live telecast is going on. The demand for separate capital in winter in a different location, in summer in a different location, that feeling of not receiving equitable development, I think all these are all misconceptions. The battle in the towns and villages is the battle of narratives. I think it will not be wrong for me to mention here that if you ask people in Khasi and Jaintia Hills, they will say all the development has been taken to Garo Hills. And if you go to Garo Hills, the same thing will be happening. All development has been taken to Khasi and Jaintia Hills. So, what is our role? I think it is incumbent on each and every member of this House that we should clarify this to our general population. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, at this juncture, I do not support this resolution. Let us work together to bring friendship, unity among our different tribes within the state, that yes, our wealth is being equally distributed, our opportunities for jobs and all the other aspects in economic activities is being equally done for all corners of the state. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Sir, while listening to the deliberation of Honorable LO, I question to myself whether it is really important that each state to have 2 capitals, and that question me also, how many states in India do we have 2 capitals? That made me to look at the Google, and Honorable MA from Umsning has already informed us that yes, there are some states who have demanded and have capital in different seasons of the year. Sir, number 1 which I want to start in my deliberation is that Shillong is our capital of all 3 tribes, and not just 3 tribes, but other tribes also who reside and who stay in Shillong. We love Shillong, and I would urge every tribe in the state of Meghalaya to take Shillong as our own capital, and let us respect and love this capital that we got and recognized by the people of the entire state. and the people of India that we are living in this lovely own capital, Shillong. I will be the happiest person to see that TURA, it's not only winter city, but it can be all 4-season city. Why only winter? It can be a developed city, it can be a good city for all 4 seasons of the year. And we love going to TURA. I went there so many times, and I still want to go, because I love looking at the beautiful of TURA city. And we really appreciate our forefather for deciding Shillong as a capital, because if we consider the climate in the entire state, I think you will agree with me that the state capital Shillong, it is having the best climate in the state of Meghalaya. It is not too hot, it is not too cold, it's bearable during summer hot, it is bearable during winter chill. That's why, sir, I believe that this capital that has been decided, it is the best location that we stick as our capital.
While in the course of discussion and submission made by some of the respected honorable MLAs in this august house, I have come to know, I was observing that they are being misled or misunderstood about the resolution. See, the resolution is about the demand towards the government to examine the demand to establish a winter capital based on the popular demand of the public from Garo Hills and the civil society organizations. There's no harm in examining the demand. So we should go for it. We should go for the examination of the demand so that our people from Garo Hills, they will know whether it is feasible to create a winter capital in TURA or not. Since our Honorable LO, the mover of the resolution, has already stated many things, so I don't want to dwell much on the demand, how and why it is necessary to create a winter capital in TURA. So I stand here with the high hopes that all the members here in this august house will stand together and make a way for examination for the creation of winter capital in TURA. And we should not be misunderstood about the resolution. Let it be clear. So with this few submission, I resume my seat. Thank you.
As his statement has been given earlier, even though I'm a good neighbor of the mover of this resolution, I'm a good mover, I'm a good neighbors, Songsak and Rongjeng. But I also stand here today not to support the resolution of my good neighbor, but I also like to speak and appreciate the idea of the demand for the winter capital in TURA. And sir, Speaker sir, and I also rise to present my remarks on the resolution moved by the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Dr. MUKUL'S, regarding the creation of TURA as a winter capital of Meghalaya. While I'll acknowledge the intent behind the resolution and the concerns of the people of Garo Hills, I must respectfully express my inability to support this resolution. But I strongly supported the demand for winter capital, not through this resolution today.
Dr. Mukul is one of the senior most leader of this house, and he has the wisdom and understanding. I appreciate much, and I have no word to question his wisdom. But at this juncture, he brought the resolution on subject about the winter capital at TURA. And as a ruling member, I cannot handhold with him.
Sir, we are aware that the people of GARO Hills, they are demanding for the separate winter capital. It has been almost, I think, 10 years. The demand still continues till today. The construction of Governor House and Mini Secretariat in TURA by the government, in line with this demand, I think it is already completed. So I appreciate the noble effort of our Chief Minister to have Governor House in TURA. Sir, regarding this issue, in the Governor address, our Honorable MLA from Rongjeng has clearly stated that winter capital should be there at TURA. I really support him, and I know it is the need of the people of GARO Hills. But sir, today I am here to express my opinion that at this juncture, since the resolution brought by the opposition leader, I cannot technically support this resolution. That is the main issue. Saying that, sir, I do not object or support the issue I am in between because of technicalities. Anyway, sir, I appreciate his resolution brought for creation of winter capital at TURA.
I support personally the inspiration of the people of the GARO Hills. It should be done. The winter season should be started in GARO Hills, but it is not feasible at this juncture. So, first we have to complete infrastructure. Then we have to restructure administrative staff, assembly staff, ministry staff, then departmental staff. So, these are the things to start the winter season in GARO Hills. Then, this government, under the leadership of the Conrad K. Sangma, is not sleeping. He is taking steps to construct other necessary infrastructures also. As soon as we finish or completed all the infrastructure and staff, creation of staff, it will be winter season at TURA will be started. So, I support the demand of the public from the GARO Hills, but since I have seen all the activities that is already taken steps for to construct remaining infrastructures, it is not necessary to bring
through resolution in this house, our house. So I oppose the resolution brought by Honorable Member Dr. MUKUL'S LO.
I also rise to support the demand for the creation of intercapital at TURA. But I oppose the resolution on the following grounds. That, number one, because the Honorable MLA of Rongjeng has already made a demand regarding the creation of intercapital at TURA earlier, the House. Number two, and the government of Meghalaya is already doing its job diligently for the creation of intercapital at TURA to bring the administration closer to the people of GARO Hills and the state of Meghalaya in general. So there is no need of bringing another resolution on the same issue.